This is called a butterfly, and in Magic it's called a coin star. To do the coin star, you're going to need 4 chips. I would highly recommend 2 chips of one color and 2 chips of another so you can keep track in your hand of what's going on. I'd also consider this to be a very difficult move to do. You're going to grab the chips like this from opposite ends with the middle finger and thumb. You're going to hold this pretty firmly. The other 2 fingers are going to trap it along the other 2 sides. They should be able to hold it independently as well. Pretty equal around. The thumb is going to come up to the side and try to remove just 2 chips. We're going to do this in a pretty interesting way. Thumb slides forward and overtakes this finger. This finger releases for a moment, so you can take just 2 chips. You're just going to kind of do this with the edge of the thumb. Slide that out from underneath. This finger takes back the position on top of this chip. So you have kind of like a triangle right here. The thumb continues to slide back as these 2 fingers apply equal pressure across the middle, separating the 2 sets of chips. Then your pinky moves into position to overtake this chip. So you have these 2 fingers helping to support the front chip, these 2 fingers helping to support the back chips, and these 2 holding the back 2 chips. Now, at this point, 2 things are going to happen simultaneously. So I'm going to remove one of the stacks of chips just to make this easier for you to follow, and we'll come back to it in a minute. These front 2 chips are going to separate. They're going to separate because these 2 fingers are going to move apart. This back chip, because of the angle of this finger, is riding more on this finger than the front chip is. So when you separate, this chip's going to follow. So if you don't mind, try just doing this part. We're going to get rid of these 2 top chips just to make it easier for a moment. The thumb is actually going to sneak down to the pinky as far as it can go and clip the edge of this back chip right here with the edge of your thumb. And you can pull this chip free like this. So now the thumb and the first finger have this chip, and the ring and the pinky have that chip completely separate. So these 2 chips are going to be moved apart like so. Before you had 2 chips here, now you have 2 here. So doing it all together, it would look like this. You're going to separate them, get them back to this position with 1 finger on top, 2 here, and 2 at the bottom. And you're going to do the thumb move and get ready to separate these 2 almost simultaneously. The thumb will be the first thing to happen. The thumb's going to come down, start to remove this chip, and as it removes, the top and the middle fingers go apart at the exact same time. Once again, we'll do this a little bit slower. Pull back with the thumb, trap all the chips, the thumb moves down, these 2 slip apart at the same time to separate all the chips. This is what it would look like at a more normal speed. One more tip on the butterfly. When you start off, there is a fair amount of pressure, but once you get to the point where the chips are separated, it's very, very light. There's a couple flourishes I'd like to show you using the butterfly. Once you get the butterfly down, just collapse all your fingers at the same time and have all the chips stuck between your knuckles. Now from this position,